Shalom. I'd like to start by saying Barakathe Howard, Barakathe Howard Shai, Barakathe Howard, Bahashem Howard Shai, Bahashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Grant Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers that are out there pushing and spreading the truth, which is the gospel, to the four corners of the world. Now through the spirit of power of Yahweh Bahashem Shai, around 5 o'clock, there's a story got uploaded within 2 hours, which there isn't much to it, but later on there will be. But it's entitled, Putin signs open, skies treaty exit bill. All right. Continue. It says the Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday signed a bill on withdrawal from the treaty on open skies following parliamentary approval, according to RIA, Russian news agency. Just a little bit more on what this open war treaty is. But before we get into it, just gonna listen to a video from the elder, the apostle.
All of the antics of America are causing the nations to isolate themselves and move away from America, from the American way, from the U.S. dollar, and causing them to, because the U.S. dollar is causing a lot of great debt among these nations, and it's causing them to
now this video, like it says right here, I forgot, but it was basically going into how the other nations are realizing that the America is not benefit them. Whenever they go with America, whenever they join hand in hand with America, there is no benefit in it, okay? And they've had too many testimonies to the point where they actually gearing up, okay? They're joining allegiance with Gog and Magog, okay? Just so America can, they don't have to, deal with America's bullshit anymore. All right, so it's a very edifying video. Let me just read it. Let me get this last precept.
Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 16. It says, cut off the sower from Babylon and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. Yeah, because they're not going to be able to benefit anymore like they did at one time. For fear of the Babylon and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. Yeah, because they're not going to be able to benefit anymore like they did at one time. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. And this is why you see Russia and China and South Korea, and them different nations, Brazil and different other nations moving away from what's supposed to be going back to the Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944-45, where the American dollar became the world reserve currency, and everything had to be traded in dollars, in American dollars. People are not going for that anymore.
Right. So, there's a lot more edifying stuff on that, but for the purpose of this video, I think it's enough information. So, on a little more details on the open skies treaty, it says, there's a background of it. It says the idea of a regime of unarmed area observation flights to promote confidence, predictability, and stability was first suggested by United States President Dwight Eisenhower in 1955. On 12 May 1989, the United States President George Bush proposed the creation of an open skies regime, which expanded on President Eisenhower's concept. Under this regime, the participants would voluntarily open their airspace on a reciprocal basis, permitting the overflight of their territory in order to strengthen confidence and transparency with respect to their military activities. In December 1989, the participants of the North Atlantic Council meeting in Brussels issued the Open Skies Basic Elements documents calling for the establishment of an open skies regime for members of NATO and the Warsaw Pact to promote openness and transparency, build confidence, and facilitate verification of arms control and disarmament agreement. All right, so that's the background of that. Now, going to the treaty provisions. It says the treaty establishes an open skies regime for the conduct of short notice, unarmed observation flights by state parties over the territories of other state parties. So basically, it's just when you sign it, you're basically giving permission for another country, or as it says right here, a state party, to basically just fly over your country on a observant mission, okay, just to make sure that you don't have any diabolical plans in place or anything like that. That's basically what it's talking about. But more in depth in it, it says the treaty gives each state party the right to conduct and the obligation to accept observation flights over their territory. The treaty establishes a passive quota, all right, for each state party, which is the total number of observation flights that each state party is obliged to accept over its territory, and an active quota, which is the number of observation flights that a state party shall have the right to conduct over the territory of each of the other state parties. A state party's active quota cannot exceed its passive quota, and a single state party cannot request more than half of another state party's passive quota. Annex A details the specific number of both quotas. The treaty entitles the state parties to perform groups and redistribute their active quotas on a common total and active passive quota. To get the point across, it says to conduct an observation flight. An observing state party must provide at least 72 hours notice to the state party it wishes to observe. Receipt of the notification must be acknowledged within 24 hours. The observing party must provide a mission plan to observe state party at least 24 hours before the commencement of an observation flight. All right, now this is what's funny. We read that this whole idea was introduced by the United States, but jump down into its development in 2021. It says on January 15th, the Russian foreign minister announced that Russia would initiate steps to withdraw from the Open Skies Treaty. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov later suggested that Russia will reconsider should the United States return to the treaty. So this whore right here, this bitch of America, okay, this Babylon hoe, trying to do a 360 or something, like trying to, finesse people. All right, the pride of these people, because they think the world is as it was back then, where they were on top, where nobody could see anything. It says, in response to a question regarding Lavrov's statements at a press briefing on 2nd February, the United States Department spokesman Ned Price indicated that the Biden administration was studying the issue and would take a decision in due course. Another line, because it says right here that jump down. Right, it says on 27th May, the United States Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman informed the Russian government that the United States will not rejoin the Open Skies Treaty. The very thing that they brought forth, they abandoned it before anybody else did. All right. So when the scripture says that these people are gonna array themselves in battle and destroy her, yeah, it's very obvious. It's super obvious that it's gonna happen. So that's just it on that. This video is meant to be very short. Hey, Jeremiah 15:16, cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handeth the sickle in the time of harvest. Because in the time that we're in, is not a time of reaping. It's not a time of increase. Okay? It is going to be a time of destruction, a time of perdition. All right? So with that, I hope edification goes out to the brothers that are listening and a few aquas that are listening in truth and sincerity. I want to say shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yashua Barakatha, and may the blessing of election be upon your house. All right? So on to the next one. Shalom.